get a job at Google Boston? First, get in line. As we look at the search queries displayed on the Google Boston lobby monitor, consider this. Google is currently fielding 20,000 resumes a week. That's 4,000 every working day.
But in Boston, your odds of landing a job are slightly better than average because they're growing rapidly after a slow, under-the-radar start. Steve Vinter, who runs the Boston office, gave us a thumbnail history.
The Boston office started in 2005, I believe, with a very small, actually in 2004 with a sales team in Boston. And then in parallel, another small team started here in engineering. And they both stayed fairly small until about the time I got here, which was about a year and a half ago. So I came in March of 2007. And that's when the rapid growth started. So when I got here, there were about, 40, 45 people. And now it's over 175.
Vinter has a broad approach to the mission of the Boston office.
The mission basically is I'd say two things. One is to find ways to provide value to Google, and the other is to find ways to maximize the contributions of all the people who join. So there are lots of different ways to provide value to Google. What I've chosen to do is try to encourage us to work in a lot of different types of areas. So we've got some mobile computing, we've got some applications, we've got lots of infrastructure projects, we've got book search, which is a big search component. So we really want to have a diverse set of things for people to do so that somebody who comes in can find projects that match what their interests are and what their skill sets are. And sometimes they come in and they want to work on something different than what they've worked on before, and so we want to offer them opportunities as well.
And the prospects look good for continued growth in the Boston office.
There's something exciting about growing. I mean, that's true for Google as a company, but it's also true from this site growing so rapidly. So what that means is there's a lot of change and a lot of evolution and a lot of new projects that get started, and there's a feeling that you have an impact because when you have an idea, you can start it really very easily and create a group that gets together and makes the site better or offers fun or whatever you want to do.
So who are they looking to hire at Google? Vintner said it's wide open.
Everything from people who have been in the industry for 20 years to people who are just graduating with with a bachelor's degree or a master's or a PhD. So the entire range. We don't open very specific positions and then look for one person to fill that position. We just generally look for the best engineers and then try to match them to, try and change the projects that we do in response to what kind of people come in.
Vinter said your skills don't even have to match up with their projects.
It depends. I mean, the ideal thing obviously is to find a match that meets the most immediate project need, but a lot of times somebody will just be so stellar in their area, will just come in and say, let's figure out how to build something around you. Yeah, absolutely.
But even if you're stellar in your area, Rob, as I know you are, the hiring process at Google is intensely difficult. I know someone who went through 7 interviews and still didn't get the job.
I've heard those interviews can be brutal. The Googlers can beat up pretty hard on those kids.
Yeah, for example, they often ask you to make a quick, sweeping calculation without any access to the data. So before you send in your resume, think about how you might answer these questions, which reportedly have been asked at Google interviews. Ready? Okay, how many golf balls can fit inside a school bus?
How much would you charge to wash all the windows in Seattle?
How many gas stations are there in the U.S.?
How much does a 747 weigh?
And how many garden hoses were sold in the U.S. last year?
Estimate the size of the bubblegum market.
I asked Vinter for a question he likes to ask.
If you were to change one Google application, what would that application be and how would you change it?
That was followed by a long pause as I thought about some Google apps. Then he turned on the pressure.
Do you have an answer for it? Come on, come on, come on, come on!
I kept thinking of Google apps, but none that I particularly wanted to change.
My brilliant idea. Why not fill up all that empty space on the Google search page?
Rob, I think both of us better keep our day jobs.